All right, so why did Oscar Pistorius fire the gun? Right? He says he doesn't remember doing it, but why did he do it? Take a look at the prosecutor now asking Pistorius about that.
You're standing in the bathroom. You're now shouting and screaming at Riva. What happened then?
Are we talking about after the shooting?
No, before the shooting.
At that point, my lady, I was standing in the bathroom with my firearm pointed at the door. My eyes were going between the open window and the door, and I heard a noise from inside the toilet.
What noise?
It sounded like wood, my lady, like wood moving.
Wood moving?
That's correct, my lady.
Is that all you heard? Wood moving?
I thought I heard the door opening, my lady.
No, you see, there we go. There we go. Not once did you say, I heard the door opening. It's the first word today that you say, that you would say, I heard the door open. You perceived lots of things, but it's not in the record that you heard the door opening. Why now today?
I didn't say I heard the door opening.
What did you hear?
I said I thought I heard the door opening. That's perception.
You thought you heard the door open. Did you also think you heard wood moving?
Yes, that's correct. I thought I heard the noise of wood moving. That door frame, my lady, doesn't fit the door properly. When you open it, it makes a knocking noise. That's what I thought I'd heard.
But so when you stood there and you had your eyes on the door and the window.
That's correct, my lady.
But you pointed the gun at the door.
Yes, the firearm was pointed towards the door, my
Yes.
lady.
And what happened then?
I discharged the firearm, my lady.
But you first heard something. What did you hear?
I heard a noise from inside the bathroom, my lady, which I thought or perceived as someone coming out to attack me.
You heard a noise and you thought somebody's coming out to attack me. Nothing else.
Nothing else, my lady.
But thinking back, that could have been anything. Why would you think that somebody's coming out to attack you?
That's what I thought at the
But
time.
why, Mr. Pistorius?
Because I didn't have the luxury to think back. my
No,
lady.
you do. You standing there, you facing the door. Why would you think somebody's attacking you?
Because I heard a noise come from
That's,
inside.
you see, the hearing of a noise and the perception that you're attacked is two different things. Why did you think somebody wants to attack you?
Because I heard a noise coming from inside the toilet, my lady. It perceived that. I thought that was the sound of the door opening.
No, you see, the two doesn't make sense. The fact that you hear a noise and the fact that you think the door is opening, those two is not the same thing. It is not the same thing. And your perception is impossible, Mr. Pistorius. You never perceived somebody to coming out. Am I right?
You're incorrect, my lady.
In fact, you knew that Riva was behind the door, and you shot at her. That is the only thing that makes sense. You shot at her knowing that she's behind the door.
It's not true, my lady.
Two things about this cross-examination. One, I think that's very important, is the little details. He doesn't let Pistorius get away with anything. He calls him on those little details. That's fantastic. The other thing is the difference in the way and the things that attorneys can get away with in South Africa, because he's basically testifying in front of the court. Let's bring back in the Dream Team. Also, hashtag on the case, your comments. But, Joey, how much would you like to cross-examine someone in South Africa?
It would be a wonderful thing. If we did that here, we'd be in contempt of court, right? I'd be behind the jailhouse eating bologna sandwiches. But the reality is it's good and it's effective because, as you mentioned, the devil's in the details, right? And so when you evaluate a story, does the story make sense? Is it reasonable? Is it rational? And if it's not, then you have to be held accountable for it. And to this point, certainly the story, at least Oscar Pistorius' story, appears to be falling apart.
Joel the Third, here's what he says. Prosecutor is doing excellent. He is tripping Oscar Pistorius all up and making Oscar Pistorius' version defy logic. That's huge. Here's Ginger Denise 04. Pistorius is really losing it on the stand, losing credibility and losing his well-practiced mask. That's interesting as well.
And, you know, when he starts to get tripped up, that's when he starts to get emotional. And I think he starts to the tears just to try to stop and, you know, kind of beg for mercy a little bit, but just to kind of break it up.
L belonged to him. This is great. From the infamous words of Judge Judy, if it doesn't make sense, it's not true on the case. Lita, 30, Georgia, or GA. Who gets shot and doesn't scream out in pain? He didn't want to hear her scream. He just wanted her dead. He is guilty for sure. Wow. And Dan, that's the thing. We have 4 different witnesses heard a female screaming. He heard nothing.
Right, absolutely. He had to take the stand because it's the only way to get his story in front of the judge, but it can't withstand cross-examination. And it's fascinating to hear the lawyer tell him that he doesn't believe his story. As Joey said, you can't do that in America. He's basically summing up while he's cross-examining this witness and saying what he believes and what's not credible.
Yeah. I put to you what you're saying, Mr. Pistorius. It's impossible. You are lying. Just admit it.
Yes, my Vinny.
It makes no sense.